finally tonight he was born into a confectionery empire, but Peter Thornton left it on a sour note. Since he was kicked out of the company in 1987, he's never been back to the old factory in Derbyshire until now, which is where I caught up with him to hear his story of sibling rivalry and a family feud. It's been 23 years since he left the family business, but Peter still remembers the day.
I just disappeared from the scene. I'm sure many people wondered, well, why? You know, because there was no leaving party or no farewell speeches and nothing in the company magazine. So nobody really knew, I suppose.
A sudden end to a glittering career for a man who devoted his life to the business his grandfather started. But now Peter Thornton is going back to Derbyshire to tell his side of the story. Peter, hello. Hi, I'm Mari.
Hello.
The story of the family feuding and sibling rivalry, he says, drove him out.
It was completely devastating, and it did take me at least 10 years to get over it.
And the reason why chocolate production left the town of Belper in Derbyshire forever.
It was a big change, and it caused problems.
But will his former employees swallow his story, or do they blame him for what happened? Peter was born into the chocolate and confectionery empire Thorntons. It was started in Sheffield in 1911 by his grandfather Joseph Thornton. Today, Thorntons plc has more than 300 shops across the country selling their much-loved special toffee and the Continental Collection. It's one of the UK's oldest chocolate retailers, employing 4,000 people. Peter's father Norman and Uncle Stanley moved production to a factory at Belper in Derbyshire in 1948. It's still here today, but derelict. It's where Peter started his career in the boiled sweet department in the summer of 1953. And what did you do when you first started?
Oh, anything, really. Weighing up the ingredients and pouring stuff onto slabs and mixing in the flavours and colours and putting it through machines.
Peter says it was his idea that Thorntons should start making Swiss chocolates, and a year after Peter joined the company, they took his idea seriously. They recruited a Swiss chocolatier called Walter Willen. He still lives nearby in Derby. Surrounded by chocolate and gadgets, by the looks of things. Judy and Beryl. They were two of your early helpers, weren't they? Is there any one thing that you're most proud of during your time at Thorntons?
Developing continental chocolates. They're the best-selling chocolates of Thorntons now. And making chocolate for the Queen when she came to visit the factory.
You made chocolates for the Queen, you made chocolates for all the royal children as well?
Yeah.
Some great pictures. You look very happy in all these photographs here.
Why not?
Good times.
So happy.
Yeah. Happy times for Walter, but for Peter, it was a different story. This is the first time that you've been back since you left?
It is, yes, it is. Yeah.
What's that like?
Well, it's very upsetting.
By 1982, production at the Belper factory had reached full capacity. The answer lay 10 miles away at Alfreton. Thorntons bought some land there and built a new factory. It was opened by the Queen in 1985. Years later, Belper closed.
It was very sad, yes, because, you know, I was responsible for getting it built. And personally never wanted it to be abandoned and closed down. Yeah. And I imagine it probably would be when the decision was taken to open the new place. These two boarded up. Belper was a really important place in my life.
Tonight, Peter will hope to put the record straight about what happened here. He's organised a talk at the nearby Lion Hotel. It's also a chance for him to publicise a book he's written about his experience.
I didn't make the decision to move the business away from here altogether, but I was involved in the original decision about building a new factory at Thornton, and I was the only one on the board who objected to it. And I objected very strongly, but it was 4-1, and so I lost.
Peter's objection increased the already unbearable tensions between other family members in the company. You see, Peter wasn't the only son to inherit the business. His brothers Tony and John were also employed, as was his cousin Michael. But there was rivalry between them, a rivalry Peter claims was responsible for ending his career.
There were too many of us in the business, and too many different personalities, at different levels of maturity. You know, we were not really a very coherent family, and family businesses, to be successful, first of all, really need to have a very cohesive family in the background.
By 1986, the company needed to raise more investment. The board decided to issue shares in Thorntons for the first time in its history. Peter claims just before this happened, he was forced out and paid a £4 million leaving package. You've said how proud you were to be a Thornton and to be part of this family firm.
Yeah.
What was it like when they threw you out?
You know, I was here one day and gone the next, and it was as if I never worked here. Suddenly, your status was totally removed. There wasn't this wonderful job to go to anymore.
The family business was then transformed into a public listed company owned by shareholders. Things would never be the same again. What should have happened, Peter? What should have happened to the family firm?
Well, we should have resolved those problems.
In fact, you volunteered your services to help.
I volunteered my services, but they were rejected. And when I talked to the chairman, he told me I was too old and too out of touch with retailing. Together, we built a fantastic business operation in Balpa on Derwent Street. We had wonderful products and wonderful productivity. And it was all because we all worked together closely all the time, I'm sure you would agree. In 1987, when I was thrown out of the business by my fellow family directors, I thought it was going to mean that it would be inevitable that the Thorntons in Balfour would close, which it did. And I thought it would be very bad socially for the people working in the business and for the town, which indeed it was.
I felt sorry for him because he put in so much effort over the years to build the company up.
I don't think you've got any reason to apologise. Not at all.
Peter's brothers and cousin declined to give their side of the story.